You just said the key word, supposed to be. I mean, I see more insane people in the TV world than I have in his world. I mean, you know.
Valerie Bertinelli and Eddie Van Halen were once seen as the ideal couple of the 1980s, representing two important parts of American entertainment, television and rock music. After almost 30 years together, they quietly separated. For nearly 20 years, the reason for their split stayed hidden, until now, as Valerie Bertinelli shares why their marriage ended. The truth is darker than people knew. I knew the man for 40 years. I was 20 when I met him. I still loved him. You. Valerie Bertinelli met Eddie Van Halen in 1980 when she was already known for her role as Barbara Cooper on the TV show One Day at a Time. At that time, Valerie's career was stable, and she was viewed as Hollywood's good girl. Eddie Van Halen was the lead singer of the rock band Van Halen, famous for hits like Jump and Panama, and known for his sold-out concerts. They came from different worlds. Valerie from family-friendly TV and Eddie from the wild world of rock music. They first met after an interview where Eddie was instantly captivated by Valerie's bright smile. They began dating quickly and married on April 11, 1981. Their wedding was private in California, but drew attention due to their contrasting backgrounds. At that time, Eddie had just finished the album Fair Warning, one of Van Halen's most intense albums, while Valerie continued her TV work. Their busy schedules left little time for each other, but Valerie often went on tour with Eddie, trying to blend his rock lifestyle with traditional marriage. It's like the way Elizabeth Barrett would say, "Wolfie, Wolfie, and I'm pregnant." In 1991, they had their first son, Wolfgang Van Halen. Valerie later said that Wolfgang's birth was the best moment of her life and a last effort to keep the family together. "So I had a million girls' names, but I just had Wolfgang, and he totally fits his name." Valerie stepped back from long-term projects to spend time with her son and manage her roles as mother, wife, and public figure. Raising a child while Eddie lived as a famous rocker was as challenging. Valerie described this time as living two lives under one roof. Eddie led an erratic lifestyle and often missed key family moments, while Valerie worked hard to keep the family together. Throughout the 1990s, Valerie continued to try to maintain a family life. She didn't leave Eddie, even as he faced serious health issues. They never publicly talked about their struggles and continued to appear at events as a normal family. However, their relationship was already starting to break down. In October 2001, Valerie and Eddie confirmed their separation. Their divorce was finalized 6 years later on December 20th, 2007, after 26 years together. They ended their marriage quietly, without public drama. During the time after the divorce, Valerie chose not to speak about it. She continued working in television, published cookbooks, and focused on raising her son in a stable environment. Eddie stayed out of the spotlight, struggling with health issues and a declining career. No one expected that nearly 2 decades later, Valerie would speak openly about their past. In her first memoir, Losing It, published in 2008, she shared what happened in their marriage. She revealed that Eddie struggled with cocaine addiction, drank daily, and often lost control. Valerie still loved him, but she felt she was living with an addiction instead of being a true partner. A striking detail was Eddie's refusal to quit smoking, even after being diagnosed with mouth cancer. Valerie explained that he had 1/3 of his tongue removed, but continued to smoke and drink hard liquor. She saw it as slow self-destruction. "I loved his soul," she wrote, "but I hated his alcohol and drugs, not him." Valerie also admitted to having an affair during a tough time in their marriage. She felt abandoned and longed for affection from someone. "I just wanted to feel affection, to be cared for by someone," she wrote in Losing It, "and I couldn't find that in my own home." Eddie had affairs too, especially while on tour. They lived in silence, unable to fully address their issues, and could no longer stay together. In the early 2000s, Valerie's mental health suffered. She developed an eating disorder, gained weight, and avoided public appearances. In a later interview with Oprah, she confessed that after the separation, she mostly stayed home, avoiding friends and family while focusing on raising her son. "I lost control, inside and out. It wasn't just the end of a marriage, it was the end of the illusion that love could save someone." In 2022, Valerie published her second memoir, Enough Already. By then, she had gained clarity through years of therapy and sobriety. She wrote with acceptance and no longer felt defensive. She described her marriage with Eddie as beautiful but ravaged, noting that they married too young and weren't prepared for fame, addiction, and isolation. She admitted she tried to be a strong wife, but it was a facade to avoid judgment. In 2024, after watching the Behind the Music documentary by their son, Wolfgang Van Halen, Valerie posted a video on Instagram that caught much attention. For the first time, she clearly said that Eddie was not her soulmate, as she once thought. "I was in love with an idealized version of him," she said. "I was ready to play the grieving widow, but the truth is, we hadn't been a couple for 20 years." Valerie Bertinelli's recent comments started a public discussion. Some people praised her bravery for speaking out about addiction, which can be a sensitive topic in the entertainment industry. Others worried that discussing the past of Eddie Van Halen, who has passed away, might hurt his legendary reputation. Valerie said, "I'm not sharing this to diminish anyone. I'm sharing it so people like me don't have to stay silent." She turned her high-profile divorce story into a message for those who have suffered in unhealthy relationships. However, some might misunderstand her story. It might seem like no love in their marriage, but they had a strong connection even after their split. Valerie and Eddie's marriage ended in 2007, but they stayed respectful for their son Wolfgang. They attended important events together and supported Wolfgang when he became Van Halen's bassist in 2006. Valerie said, "Even though we're no longer a traditional family, we're still a team for Wolfie." When Eddie fought throat cancer in 2019, Valerie was often by his side and was there when he died on October 6, 2020. In her Instagram tribute, she expressed gratitude for being with him in his last moments. In her 2022 memoir, Enough Already, Valerie talked about Eddie's final days. She shared that they exchanged loving words and that a form of love remained between them despite their separation. However, after Eddie's death, some people misinterpreted her grieving, accusing her of seeking attention. This criticism grew after her 2024 video, in which she stated Eddie was not my soulmate and that they hadn't really been a couple in 20 years. Valerie did not defend herself publicly after Eddie's passing. Instead, she shared a heartfelt message about her healing journey on social media. She recognized Eddie as a talented artist and father and encouraged Wolfgang to see his strengths and weaknesses. After Eddie passed, Valerie faced many life changes, including new personal challenges. In January 2011, she married Tom Vitale, with Eddie and Wolfgang in attendance, hoping for a fresh start. But she filed for separation by the end of 2021, citing irreconcilable differences. She mentioned on Instagram that things weren't working out despite her love. After the divorce, Valerie concentrated on her memoir, Enough Already, made lifestyle changes, and committed to sobriety for her mental health. During this time, she learned to focus on her well-being. In March 2024, she revealed a new relationship with writer Mike Goodnight, which fans saw as a positive step in her healing. They made their first public appearance at the Daytime Emmy Awards in June. Valerie confirmed her breakup with Mike in November 2024 on Instagram. She said external factors led to the split, not a lack of love. Mike described their relationship as the best part of his year and respected their decision to separate. By March 2025, Valerie shared her journey. "I've been in 2 marriages where I tried too hard. I realized that loving others can't fill the emptiness within myself." Many, mainly middle-aged women, connected with her story of recovery after divorce. Valerie talked openly about her mental health struggles. In November 2024, she shared her severe anxiety, which forced her to take a break from work. "I can't keep pretending to be okay," she said. This led her to advocate for mental health in the entertainment industry. She was honest about her past and failures as part of her journey. Now 65, Valerie no longer sees herself as just Eddie Van Halen's ex-wife or a 1980s TV star. She moves beyond old labels and focuses on living life on her own terms. At the end of 2023, her show Valerie's Home Cooking ended after 8 seasons. She also left Kids Baking Championship, a tough but necessary decision she saw as a natural change. In September 2024, Valerie returned to TV as a lifestyle contributor on The Drew Barrymore Show. She focused on post-divorce emotional wellness and healthy habits, moving away from cooking and talk shows. Her social media also changed, shifting from professional updates to personal reflections on anxiety and recovery. A heartfelt video of her panic attack in November 2024 gained millions of views. Valerie continues to have a strong bond with her son Wolfgang. She surprised him at a concert in early 2025, joking, "I'll never join my son's band, but I'm his #1 fan." On her 65th birthday, she reflected on self-acceptance, saying, "The light at the end of the tunnel appears when you stop and turn toward yourself." Although she hasn't announced retirement, Valerie no longer seeks validation from others. Her journey is about breaking free from expectations, contrasting with her marriage to Eddie Van Halen. While he became a rock legend and she succeeded in television, both built unique legacies. Their relationship reminds us of love's limits under pressure and the sacrifices involved. Eddie is remembered for his significant impact, while Valerie represents resilience in entertainment. Their story leaves us with lessons about love and personal growth.